Hello, this is me, Samantha. This is the second part of my video. We're getting ready to talk about a case that's becoming worldwide. And it's talk because it's inconceptive with two laws, okay? And I hope I pronounced this right. This is a hot topic, and it's concerning the Breonna Taylor case and the issue of stand your ground versus a no entry warrant, okay? And for disclosure, I am not an attorney. I'm just giving my personal opinion and citing what the law says, okay? Before I start, I would like for you to subscribe to my channel. I would like for you guys to hit the notification button to get that. That's why we're here. We're here at Justice TV because Roger Posky, because we want to get an insight of everything, okay? Now, before I start, let me get on my thing right here. Before I start, we're going to talk about a subject. And before I even talk about it, I want to give you a scenario. It's late at night. It's 3 in the morning. Give or take between 12 and 6 in the morning. That's when warrants usually take place. And you're in the bed, you're asleep. Somebody may be up. And, you're in the bed. Y'all sleep. Y'all relax. You know it ain't no company come over. Then all of a sudden, you get a quick boom, 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 boom. And somebody kick in the door. Any human person gonna automatically start to thinking somebody broke in their home and they're gonna take defense. At that point, it's two defenses. It's the person that's trying to get in and the person that's already in. This is what the case is about. Everybody's looking at, when they talk about this young woman, she was in her house. Her boyfriend was watching TV. He was just about to get ready to go to bed. Then all of a sudden, the sheriff came, beat on the door. The police came, knocked on the door, beat it on the door, kicked the door in. The boyfriend didn't know, and he shot at them. As a result, a gunfire led, and she ended up dead. So you have to ask this question because, everybody has different opinions. I've sat here and I've listened to so many people say that, it was drugs coming out the house. It was this coming out the house. And she was this. And she was this type of woman and all of that. That, in all respective, has no bearing on a warrant. And what I mean by that is this right here. There was a case where they were serving, this is in Shelby County. They were serving a warrant on somebody, and they got the wrong address. It was one digit off. And the drug dealer lived next door. And they got the digit off. And they ended up breaking into the woman's house and literally taking her door off. When I mean off, it's like they connected it to somebody and just drug off and took the door off. As a result of that, the drug dealer was able to get in the car with his stuff, and he drove away. Well, the woman sued because even though the warrant said that it had her address on it, it wasn't her. And it wasn't what they were looking for was not there. It was in the other house. So when we talk about that's called Fourth Amendment. We're addressing basically the Fourth Amendment. She was in her home. The Fourth Amendment states that you're supposed to be in your home, secure from all this kind of stuff, seizures and search of papers. So they had her address, and like I said, and they kicked the door in. At that point, because the guy was in the house and he was in there with her, then it brought a conflict in because in some states, including Tennessee and Kentucky, they have their stand your ground. Stand your ground was designed for when somebody try to come in your house and try to kill you. that you, at some point, you can use excessive force to kill them, including a gun. So with, we sit here and that's a baffle, because you say, well, okay, the police had a no entry warrant. Supreme Court says that in cases like that, the police they don't have to inform you. All they gotta do is just knock on, that's they choosing. They don't have to knock on the door. They can just ram it in. And that was to combat the drug dealers and those who are committing a crime. But what if you're not committing a crime and they get your address mixed up with somebody else's address? Or let's even go further. You living in on a place where there was a possibly drug activity, and you moved out 1 month and they moved out in 1 month, and 2 more months later you end up there. But they don't know that. But at the time they were surveilling, they knew that was an activity. And then as a result of that, they come in and they look at you, they kicking in your door, beating on yours, asking you for that. That can happen. That can happen. It can happen. Case in point, when I lived in Memphis, me and my husband, my ex-husband now, but me and my husband, we bought a house from these people. Nice people, beautiful people. Then his mail was coming there. Apparently, he had a federal and a state charge. And I just put return to sender, moved. Well, somebody didn't get the memo. And at 5:50 in the morning, boom, 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 boom. I get a beating on the door. I go to the door, and it's like SWAT team in the front. And when I let them in, I asked them what was going on. They told me stand at the door. They asked me, wait a minute, hold on. I had to tell them, I don't know who you're looking for. Who you looking for? And they was about to go in my house. Wait a minute, I do not give you consent. What are you looking for? And they told me, these people never lived there. But see, I could see in the when I went into the den area, I could see them all in the back. They in the back. They saturated. And I went and I showed them the loan papers. Look, these people left. I don't even know where they been. I don't even know. He didn't even let his attorney know. So when we talk about stuff like this, we have to take in consideration a lot of things that are not that the media and other people are not telling you. Stand your ground. Like I said, in your home, you have to look at that. When you're in your home, would you want something like that to happen? And I think the right thing for them to do was to settle the case. And they may not make that officer the scapegoat, but if he has a tendency of being an abusive police, he has a history of wrongdoing. It took this incident to catch him. Something that should have been done a long time ago. So you can't look at this young woman and say, well, she was selling drugs out of her house or whatever, because people can use your address. They don't really need your permission to use your address. I mean, I've seen cases where people have stuff delivered to them and they said, that's not mine, and they may leave it in the mailbox and telling the postal person, they don't live there. But the person to come and get it before the postman has to take it back. So you can't sit here and argue about that. I've used people's address for something. I have. Especially when I thought my packages was being stolen. I have it going to my mom's house or my sister's house or something like that. So you can't sit and say, well, okay, this person, she had some drugs there. There's no evidence of it. So when you talk about the Fourth Amendment, when we sit here and we talk about the Fourth Amendment and this young lady Taylor, it's unfortunately that had to happen. But to be honest, it's becoming more common now than anything else. But because that search warrant, that people are trying to do the war on drugs per se, that they're not looking at the right procedure on how to do it. I think at this point in time, I think we need to have what they call citizens committee to sit here and not only review police records. We do. We need to have them where police officers who has disciplinary actions, they need to be coming out because they make bad apples. And that's anywhere. That's anywhere. When I worked in corrections, I tell you, I can count how many officers that was had that plastic badge on and thought they was making a TV series. It was all about them. And then until they got caught up. And I didn't do it then, and I wouldn't do it now. I made sure, and I became ostracized because you know what? If I saw a bad officer do something bad, I wasn't going to go along with the ride. I told the truth. And a lot of times, a lot of people don't want to hear that. But when you going before federal court against an inmate, no, I'm not. I had 2 kids. I was not going to be, nobody was going to sue me, and I was not going to jail for nobody. A job I can always get. My life is one in a lifetime. So when you sit here, and I hope when you guys look at the episodes that's coming out, and I do want to throw this out. You know, when those who are out there protesting, you got to realize you got a few chuckleheads that's out here that's going to try to escalate. That's on either side. You got people who are not protesting and doing it in a proper way and to just, protest, a peaceful protest. You got some chuckleheads that just, they always want to clown. They bring drama. They tearing up stuff. They trying to harm people. They burning down stores in their community and stuff like that. That's not all about that. And all of them are not dangerous. Because you got to realize something. It's a lot of people out there. But I hope that when you continue to hear this will give you more of a legal aspect of it instead of you saying, well, I heard this and I heard this. This is really about a Fourth Amendment case, a constitutional, and it's about a law. Stand your ground. Because to be honest, I'm not against or for the police. I have friends that are for that's in the police department in various cities. But you got to realize something. Stand your ground consists of if somebody trying to break in your home. Question is that you have to identify, did the police give proper notification? Because they had a they justified. They had a no knock entry. They didn't have to knock on the door. They had a right to kick it in. But see, now it brings another conflict. Stand your ground. Because if they can come in without informing you, do you have a right to start shooting at somebody? You don't know who that is. It is proper and common courtesy to give notification. Because when you give notification, then they go to shooting. Then you can justify the shooting. You can justify the officer. But let's be realistic. I don't know anybody that will allow somebody to kick a door in or bust a door down and not take any kind of action, especially when you're not, in the middle of the night. You would sit there and say, well, I'm just going to sit here. Boom, somebody knocked the door in. What you want? Now, majority of people, average person would get up and try to either fight, shoot if they got a gun or a knife or a stick. They're going to try to use something to defend themselves because they don't know what is coming in to harm them. So, like I said, I hear all of these stuff, and I hear these comments, these wild comments, and about, hey, this person shouldn't. Well, I'm not paying for for this, and she was this. That's irrelevant. That has no bearing on whatever it is. Oh, she was this, and that has no bearing. The bearing is that the Fourth Amendment. Was she protected under the Fourth Amendment? Yes. Did stand your ground? Did he have a right to shoot at whatever it is? Yes. Especially if you feel that your life is in imminent danger. You have a right to defend yourself. You can't sit here and say, oh, well, this person is this, and well, they doing it. Even if, let's just throw it out there, even if she was a drug dealer and she was doing the drugs and she was having to come to her house, still stand your ground law will still apply, because they have to notify her when they come in. Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm giving the disclaimer. This is my opinion based on what I know. Still. And then you have to finally ask one question. If you had a gun in your house, somebody knocking on, beating on your door, and don't say, well, I'm not a criminal. It wouldn't have never happened to me. It happens a lot. Police are human. Prosecutors are human. DAs are human. All they have to do is go. Judges are human. All they got to do is present evidence. They ain't always got to be right or correct. Reasonable cause. And they can type up the wrong address, the wrong name, the wrongness, and kick your door in. It doesn't have to be everything. That's why that they have laws, because the search and seizure the warrant has to be right, or it can be thrown out. And I guarantee you, for the city to settle with that woman, because believe me, they tried to find some stuff on her. Please don't think they didn't. They tried to find some stuff on her. And when they found out they couldn't, and the laws had been broken, that's where that settlement came in. They don't just settle with you because they feel like, okay, we're gonna downplay this or anything. I guarantee you, the city does not want to pay for anything. They would try to dig. If you ever get in a situation where you dealing with a government entity, they gonna find more dirt on you than dirt, because they gotta find a reason to tie that in, to say what they did was justified. And when they can't, and I bet you Louisville did, because I guarantee you, they didn't want to pay that woman. They didn't want to pay that woman's family $12 million. And it's probably more than that. It could be that they paid the family $12 million and paid for the attorney fees, which is separate. So the family got $12 million, and then the attorneys got their attorney fee. If a good lawyer, that's what they would do. I wouldn't settle for no $12 million and then have the attorney take his fees out of it. No, what I would do is I would, to make the attorney get his fees from the city, and then I keep that all to myself. And it depends on how they doing it. They may not have to pay taxes on it. They may not. So, that's a disclosure, whatever. But back to that issue. You have to realize something. It's not about the situation at hand. It's about, did the police do what was supposed to be done to justify? Apparently, they didn't, and they didn't want to go to court and all this other stuff come out, which would have probably made it a bigger riot. That's why they settled. It was more on the officers than it was on her. So I thank you guys for watching this video. I thank you guys. Please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Hey, give me your comments on this, okay? I think this is a hot topic. Give me your comments. Thanks.